One day I was driving her to a piano recital, watching her fingers rehearse scales on her knees. The next, her number was disconnected. No warning, no message. I learned through a neighbor that her mother had remarried, moved across the state. New address, new number. No forwarding, no trace. I left voicemails until my own voice became unfamiliar. Birthday cards came back unopened. The girl I'd raised on my own after her mother vanished, gone, like I'd been edited out of her life. Eventually, I stopped reaching out. There's a moment when pain turns to numbness. Mine arrived in the third year of silence. Sitting alone in the dark, rereading the last postcard I'd sent her. The ink had run from tears I no longer admitted to. Grief, I discovered, is loud, but absence is sterile. So I treated her like she had died. I deleted the photos, sold the piano, put my energy back into the business. 28 years passed. Not a word. Then, last November, I got a message. A social media ping from a name I hadn't spoken aloud in decades. "I found you," she wrote. "Hope you're well." I didn't reply. Not right away. I clicked through her profile instead. Polished house. Husband. 2 children. A golden retriever named Winston. Her smile looked curated. A week later came another message. "We're hosting Thanksgiving. It would mean a lot if you came." No apology. No explanation. Just a polite invitation. As if decades of silence could be bridged with dinner roll and a warm welcome. She didn't know I'd sold my company last spring. The acquisition had made national news. 9-figure deal. Headlines. I accepted her invitation. Quietly. The house was big, full of clean wood and decorative excess. She greeted me like an old co-worker at a reunion. A smile stretched across her face, but never quite touched her eyes. They sat me near the head of the table. Introduced me to strangers with titles. Her husband, her in-laws. Her husband brought up the sale casually, though his eyes betrayed the curiosity. She mentioned the article, how proud she was. I nodded, said little. I watched them more than I spoke. The glances they shared. The way he asked about legacy planning. Her eyes sparked when I mentioned a charitable trust. After dessert, she pulled me aside. "I know we've been distant," she said, "but maybe we can rebuild. For the kids. They deserve to know their grandfather." She never once said sorry. Never asked what those lost holidays were like. Never wondered if I had been alone or why I never remarried. She wasn't reaching for a father. She was maneuvering toward proximity. Proximity to wealth. I didn't argue. Just smiled. Thanked her for the meal. When I got home, I rewrote my will. Quietly, thoroughly. 3 long-standing charities became sole beneficiaries of my estate. I added a clause to lock it airtight. A week later, I sent her a message. "I've decided to establish a scholarship foundation in your name, as a gesture of reconciliation." She replied within the hour. Grateful, suddenly warm. 2 weeks later, the foundation went public. It bore her maiden name, but the press release made its mission clear. A fund dedicated to supporting young adults estranged from their families. Every word was deliberate, subtle, but sharp. Soon, friends began calling her, asking questions. Her social media turned private. She texted, "Was that about me?" I didn't reply. A typed letter arrived the following month, and signed, full of questions disguised as concern, accusations dressed as confusion. "Why would you humiliate me? What did I ever do to deserve this?" I shredded it. By then, I no longer needed explanations. The wound she left had already scarred. I didn't want revenge. I only wanted the truth to stand unshaken in the light. Last week, a journalist reached out, a mutual acquaintance. Said she'd begun giving interviews about reuniting with her father. Asked if I'd like to respond. I declined. There's nothing left to clarify. The money continues to grow, managed by quiet hands. The foundation thrives. I speak at schools, shake hands with students, send anonymous donations. If her children ever wonder, they'll see my name on the libraries, the grants, the awards, but not in a will. I gave her a chance to be honest, to show up as more than a performance. Thanksgiving was her test. She smiled through it and failed. I didn't leave in anger. I left with clarity. Closure, I've learned, doesn't always need to echo. Sometimes it arrives in silence and stays.